This month, I broke one of my own investing rules. Normally, I invest around £800 every single month. It's become part of my routine over the last 18 months or so, and it's part of my plan to hopefully have more options in later life. But this month, I only invested £100. Now, I know that that is still a very meaningful amount of money. I just say only because it is obviously a lot less than I have been investing previously. Now, I haven't done this because I've suddenly become scared to invest in the stock market, and I haven't done this because I think that there's some sort of crash coming, because honestly, I have no idea, as do the vast majority of people in this world, and especially on YouTube, have no idea. It's also definitely not because I've stopped believing in investing as a whole. To be honest, it's just because real life has got in the way, as it does from time to time, as I'm sure you may be able to empathise. Not expecting you to get a tiny little violin out to watch this video, but just for context, we've got an empty buy-to-let property that's been empty for some time now. It's costing us £600-700 a month to keep the lights on, or to keep the lights off in this case. And quite recently, Mrs. Compounding Project and I have booked a holiday. Nothing too big and fancy, just a UK break, but I've forgotten how expensive UK breaks can get. And so for the first time since starting my investing journey about 18 months ago, and since starting this channel a few months ago in 2026, I just decided that I wasn't going to force myself to hit an arbitrary target that I've made up myself for investing, and so I didn't. And to be honest, I likely won't for the next 2 or 3 months either. So what I'm going to do in this video is show you exactly what has happened to my portfolio over the last month, why I made that decision, and why I actually think it's made me rethink what successful investing actually looks like. Now, as always, investing involves risk. Your capital is at risk, and investments can go down as well as up. You could get back less money than you invest. Nothing in this video should be considered financial advice. I'm simply sharing what I've done with my own money. And I don't just say this as a disclaimer so that I don't get sued by somebody on YouTube. I actually think that's really important to keep in mind if you're consuming finance content on the internet. Anyway, enough of me being an absolutely top guy. Let's have a look at what this month has actually looked like. And the funny thing about this update is, if you'd have asked me how my portfolio has performed in the last month before I really looked at the numbers, I'd have said something like, well, it's been a really volatile month and things have been really up and down. There were points where I was up several £100s, and then I'd check again and I'd be down the same amount, then it recovered, then it fell again. You get the idea. It genuinely felt like one of the most up and down months I've seen since I've started investing. And then I looked at the actual numbers at the end of the month, and the portfolio currently sits at £22,719, and over the month it is down a grand total of £54. That is it. Again, I'm not saying £54 is an insignificant amount of money, but in percentage wise, it's tiny. After feeling like it had been all over the place for the last 4 weeks, I'm basically £54 worse off than I was a month ago. And I actually kind of love that. Not like I enjoy losing £54, because I don't, but because it reminds me just how dangerous it is to judge investing based on emotion. If I'd have just gone off how this month felt, I'd have told you, oh, it's been a roller coaster. But the reality at the end of the month was pretty boring, and that's probably quite a good thing. One thing I've definitely noticed now the portfolio is getting bigger is that normal market movements start looking much bigger in terms of the actual pound note figure. Even last year, a £500 swing would have been a huge proportion of my investments. Now I'm 18 months in, I still notice it because the numbers are big, but it feels much more like a normal thing to happen. Nothing has fundamentally changed in my portfolio. The companies that I own haven't suddenly become brilliant one day or terrible the next. The market has done just what markets seem to do, and that's becoming much easier for me to accept the longer that I have been invested and the more swings that I see. Let's get stuck into the portfolio then. So my biggest holding is the Vanguard FTSE All-World, the accumulating fund. This is the foundation of everything that I'm doing and where I'm putting the majority of new money into in this portfolio. As said, I added £100 to it this month, not the normal sort of 700 or 800, but just because of everything I've already spoken about, I decided that £100 was enough for me this month. I personally believe that for me, at my stage of life and investing, me maintaining the habit of investing is more important than the actual number itself. And so if you you looked at the chart for the FTSE All-World at the end of the month, you'd probably think, well, not much happened. It finished the month up about 0.4%, so nothing particularly exciting. But then when I zoom out, that holding is now worth over £10,700, and it's showing a gain from when I first purchased it of more than £1,600. And that's why I love looking at the bigger picture, because this monthly chart, a monthly update, tells one story, but the long-term chart tells a completely different one. And it's a similar story with the S&P 500. Now, the summary is that it's been uneventful, but throughout the month it has been up and down, but it's ended down about £12. Overall, since I started buying the stock, it's returned about £1,290. And that doesn't happen because I timed the market perfectly. It doesn't happen because I'm clever, because I'm definitely not. It's happened because I've just consistently bought over long periods of time and mostly left it alone. And that again does sound incredibly boring, because it is, but boring seems to work surprisingly well, and that's a big part of why this channel is called The Compounding Project. Let's talk about some individual stocks then. So Alphabet, which is Google. Now, if you'd only looked at June, you'd probably think that this had been a terrible investment. It's down about 13% this month, or £225 in my case. Not pleasant viewing at all to see those numbers red in the portfolio, but when I zoom out to my historic, holding of the stock itself, overall, I'm still up just over £845, or 91%, which is absolutely nuts. And that's, for me, it's just a good reminder that 1 month alone tells you almost nothing. Like if I'd bought it very recently, if I bought it last month, I'd probably be feeling pretty down about it right now, sure. But because I've owned it for a while, this monthly drop barely changes the bigger picture at all. It's had all those months of growing where I've been putting in consistent investments, so a bit of a different feeling. And I think that is just one of those lessons that's much easier to understand when you've actually lived through it yourself. Another individual stock, Rolls-Royce, and Rolls-Royce just seems to be going from strength to strength at the minute. Performance-wise, it's up again 8.5%, or around £175. My holding is now up more than 54% overall, which again is completely nuts and completely pot luck. It has also paid me £7.68 in dividends, which I just put straight back into Rolls-Royce stock, so not particularly an exciting decision there, just keeping the money invested in the stock that paid out to me. And in a similar sort of way, Legal General has had a good month, so up 5.5%, or around £25, and also paid me £24 in dividends. And again, I just put that back into Legal General. So as a whole, Legal General was up nearly £50 for me this month, which is pretty decent. I do often talk about with people like dividend investing versus like index fund just for growth investing, and does it feel any different? And honestly, they actually do, even if the numbers are similar. Like logically, I understand when a dividend is paid, it is not free money, it is coming out of a company. But like emotionally, I like the feeling of being paid a dividend, and even just like reinvesting the money into it feels like, oh, I'm getting paid something and I'm going to put this back in for a snowball or whatever. It feels different to just seeing a number grow on screen. Maybe that's just me, maybe that's a bit strange, but it's just how it feels. It does also give me that feeling that the portfolio is beginning to like work for me rather than me working for it. Like it's given me a dividend, I've not done anything other than put money in a little while ago. So £24 dividend, I know isn't life-changing for me at the minute, but feels good. Now, I know this doesn't really add to a dividend stack in a meaningful way, but Alphabet, so Google, did pay me a 97p dividend, which again, I just got reinvested with another few pence I put in from another dividend that minimum rebuy was £1 or something. I basically put it back into Google anyway. I know it's a small amount of money, but every little bit adds up over time. These next two holdings do make me smile every time I open the app and look at them. So Realty Income and Nvidia. Now, I didn't actually buy either of these stocks. These are both free fractional shares I received through the Trading 212 sign-up offer when other people have opened accounts and used my code, which will probably be on screen in the description down below. And I'm sure you hear lots of finance creators say that, but getting something for free, you might agree, is cool and nobody's going to ever complain about that. But for me personally, knowing that somebody has potentially started their investing journey because of some content I put on the internet, that feels cool. So for the purpose of this video, they're worth about £12 each. They're not really impacting the portfolio right now. Nvidia's down 7%, Realty Income's up a little bit and paid me a few pence in dividends. But more than anything, I like looking at them and thinking about, right, where did they come from? And it makes me smile. And that's really the point of this channel. I don't want people watching this thinking that they need to do the same investing that I do. completely the opposite, or that they need to invest however much a month or, whatever else. I know that everybody's circumstances are different. And the reason that I share this portfolio isn't because I think it's the perfect portfolio or the one that people should aim for. It's because it's mine. This month has actually reminded me why I started investing in the first place. The goal wasn't, and still isn't, to create another monthly target that I'll beat myself up about every month or sacrifice every area of my life so I can put a little tick next to a number on a piece of paper so a number is slightly higher than it was the last month. The goal wasn't and isn't to have a spreadsheet where every month just looks perfect. The goal was, and still is, to reduce financial stress over time, but over a long period of time. Not to create more financial stress or to grow my finances in a real short period of time. Now sure, I could have forced myself to invest more money this month or made cutbacks in other areas of life. Mrs. Compounding Project might have had something to say if it impacted the holiday at all, but I just realised that I'd actually be making myself more stressed. And the only thing that I'd achieve was to be able to say, yep, I hit my usual investing target, which I set myself without a clear goal in mind. Like, if investing is supposed to make life better for me at some point, why would I use it to make life worse right now? So instead, as I always have, I guess, I've just invested what I could, not because it's the right amount, not because I'm suggesting that somebody else should do the same as that, simply because for me, that's what felt sensible this month. And now I've done it, I don't feel guilty about it at all. I feel fine saying this on a video. A few months ago though, I think I probably would have kicked myself a little bit. I'd have felt like I'd broken the streak or that I'd somehow failed, but now I just think that consistency is bigger than 1 month on its own. The consistency isn't the amount, it's continuing to make thoughtful decisions month after month. Some months it'll be £800, some months it'll be £100, some months the market will be up and some months it will be down. This month, despite all the ups and downs, despite the portfolio feeling like it's been a roller coaster, and despite investing being much less than normal, nothing catastrophic happened. The portfolio kept quietly doing what portfolios do, and I kept quietly doing what I could afford to do. The really quiet things like post it on the internet for everybody to see. But looking back, this actually feels like a successful month, not because I made loads of money, because as we've seen, I didn't, but because the investing plan adapted to real life, instead of real life having to adapt to investing plan. Now, I think that's a much healthier way for me to build wealth over the next 20 plus years. Because as we may well know, life isn't always going to be predictable. Sometimes properties cost money, sometimes holidays come up, sometimes the boiler breaks, those sorts of things. Sometimes you just have months where you can invest much more than usual, and sometimes you have months where you can invest much less. The important thing for me at least is just simply trying to make sensible decisions with whatever situation I'm in at the time. As always, I would love to hear what you think. Have you ever reduced your investing because life got in the way, or are you somebody who keeps the same amount invested every month regardless of what's going on in life? Be interested to hear how you approach this sort of thing. Thank you very much for watching. Please do subscribe if you haven't already to follow the journey. I appreciate you watching, and I'll see you in the next one.